and welcome to the second half of the year. The second half of the year is upon us. That means all-star breaks in free agency in the NBA. That means camps in the National Football League are about ready to get open. We got a whole lot to do. What is good and glad you're with us. Good to be back. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta with DC today. How you living over there, big man?
Oh, I'm living well. I am so excited for July 4th. It's like my favorite holiday.
Is it really?
It really is.
Why?
I've never had a bad one.
All right.
But
I like that.
I love America and I love celebrating. So it's a great combo.
All right. I'm down with that. Are you a fireworks guy?
I am not.
So I mean, like, you like the big public displays?
I do. I don't like shooting them off myself.
I've never been the guy that go buy a whole box and just let's fire them off. And
No, I'll let someone else do that.
yeah, I've never been that guy either. I know, but if there's many who are obviously and dig it. However it is and whatever it is you're doing to celebrate, hope you're having a great holiday weekend that will probably extend through tomorrow night. I still film tonight. Their big 4th of July, which will be on the 3rd of July celebration, will be tonight, and I'm looking forward to that out at the ballpark as they play I believe the Chihuahuas one more time before they get out of here tomorrow. So you get that tonight. Let me open it up for you today, 505-246-0610. JJ's going to take the week off. JJ never takes a week off. So we're going to – good for him. Good for him. But we got a lot to do. Jeff Grammer's going to be with us coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. We're going to talk to Jeff for as long as he wants to talk to us today. I don't know how long Jeff's got. He said, I'm free between 8 and 9, but he's got stuff. He couldn't come in. But I just thought between everything that's happening in college hoops, the Greg Heyer stuff, college basketball overall, as of Saturday, the Aggies were in a new league. They were in Conference USA. The American Athletic Association looked different. The Big 12 looked different. Everything but the Mountain West looked different. The Pac-12 stays the same for one more year. So I thought it'd be a good time to bring Jeff in, and we'll talk some college sports and local stuff. So we're going to catch up with him coming up at 8 o'clock. What'd you look at this weekend? Did you look at the golf? Did you see Ricky Fowler win this weekend?
I did see that, actually.
So what did you think? Did you watch it as it was airing?
No, I was following on my phone.
All right, so because of the weather there, they played it earlier. And so I knew what happened before I watched it, which was the only bummer because it was actually really dramatic. Ricky had a birdie the last hole. He got himself in trouble on 17. He came back and made par. And then he had a birdie 18 to get into the playoff with Colin Morikawa and Adam Hadwin. And he puts his driver out to the right. He was in trouble. And he puts it literally within about 8 feet. A beautiful second shot. And the drama would have been really good if I didn't already have a Twitter in my hand and know what had happened. Or I'd switch over to the U.S. Senior Championship and watch it. And they told me, congratulations to Ricky Fowler. And I'm like, come on, man. It's on the other network. But other than that, it was really good. We'll get through the All-Star selections, the free agency, who won. But let's go. You want to go phones early? We get started early? Go. All right. As I've been gone, and I know what happens. I come back, I forget my glasses. I got these glasses here. If you're watching on the simulcast, I keep these reserve glasses. Maybe I should go buy another pair at the dollar store and put them in reserve that have 2 arms on them instead of one.
Those look cool, though.
Do they?
They do.
Is that how the kids are doing it?
I think so.
Yeah, just wearing them with glasses with one arm. That's what I'll do.
I'm sure someone is.
All right, that's how the kids are doing it. How you living? What's up, Art?
Hey, brother, I'm doing well. Happy 3/4.
Hey, happy Independence Day to you as well. What's going on?
Yeah, I want to just chime in. I read over the weekend how the Mountain West didn't have any cojones. It kind of torques me that they should have told San Diego State, you know what? You put your foot in the door. They should not let these guys back in because that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And who gives a crap? You want to play the big boys? Go.
Let me ask you this:
$60 whatever million and get the hell out.
Let me ask you this:
but I'm really talked about that.
Art,
West not having any cojones. Yeah.
Do you think the league's better without San Diego State?
Well, it doesn't matter really. They're going to jump anyway. But if you didn't play big boy, then you need to eat your crap too.
Yeah.
I think, either way. But I think the Mountain West could have. We've been able to do something to
stick it to them.
You know what I'm saying? But just to kiss their tail, so to speak, I think that's a bunch of crap because that just shows how weak the conference really is. If the Big 12 goes away, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I if the Pac-12 goes away. So here's
the Pac-12. I'm sorry.
Here's the other side of it. San Diego State claims, and then you would add a legal battle, that they never gave their notice, right? So the deal is, if they'd have given their notice by Friday, their exit fee would have been $17 million to get out after one more year. And if they waited after July 1st, it would have doubled to $34 million. And they claim we never gave our notice. We told you that we were intending to give notice, but we never gave notice. And we are telling you now we are not giving you notice. We are staying in the league. So then you would add a legal battle. And I think they realized, you know what? It's just not worth it to have this legal battle with a member. They're still going to be a member. And I don't think it's arguable. I mean, I can't entertain an argument where the league is better without San Diego State. It's kind of like BYU and Utah. I don't think the league's better without BYU. And I think they realized, all right, I don't know what they could have done to penalize them. And we're going to have this conversation with Jeff at 8:00, but I don't know what they could have done. Art, honestly, I know a lot of people feel like you do. They should have stuck it to them. I'm not sure that they could have done anything.
Okay, well, I was under the impression that, and I could be out of my mind too, under impression that they did give some type of documentation that they were afuera.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get into it with Jeff at 8:00, and I'll get better clarification on it. But the way I understand it is they feel that the letter they sent was not notice. I know the league claimed, all right, well, we're taking it as notice, and now you're gonna have a legal battle, and sometimes is a legal battle worth it? And I'm gonna guess they decided not. Art, be well. Enjoy the 4th. Take care.
All right, you too, my friend.
I'm gonna get. Well, when did this go down? Friday. This came down Friday, so you guys probably didn't get into this on Friday, did you?
No, we didn't.
All right, so this is going to be something that I think is going to mean a lot to a lot of people around here. So San Diego State informed the Mountain West on Friday. It was Friday afternoon, I think, that they intend to stay at least for now, because bottom line is they didn't have an official invitation from the Pac-12 or the Big 12. So you'll remember back on it was the middle of June, I think it was the 13th, that their president Adela De La Torre sent a letter to the Mountain West outlining that they intended to leave the conference for what at the time was believed to be going to the Pac-12. Now, the school, San Diego State, has claimed that was not a formal exit letter. The conference says that they took it as a formal exit letter. They took President De La Torre off of the board of directors. They withheld the expected $6 million media rights payout fee, which was believed to go towards their exit fee. San Diego State came back before the deadline and said, no, we're not going anywhere, really, because they don't have anywhere to go. Now, I think you and me and everybody else believes when they and if they have the opportunity to go to the Big 12 or the Pac-12, they're going to go. As would you, as would your peers. The money at the power conference level is just that superior. Now, and this is a conversation we'll have with Jeff quite a bit. You got two different interpretations of a document. Was it a formal letter, or was it an intent, that, like basically saying, "Hey, heads up, we're gonna let you know." So you want to litigate this with a member who's been, I'm not even sure it's arguable, your best member, right? Your most, I mean, competitively, they've been better success-wise than Boise State has or Fresno State has, or right? They're the highest profile member you have right now. They went to the championship game of the NCAA tournament. You want to have a legal battle? Art says you should have just let them go, told them pound sand. Are you better without San Diego State? Just to make a point, tell them to go. You're going to go independent. Go pound it. See how that works for you. Go find a place. Or do you take them back for as long as you got them, understanding that they're going to bounce as soon as they get that invitation, and they'll go through the process. And it's not going to be like they go tomorrow, right? They're going to go through the whole process. And I think what the league did is they decided it's probably what's best for the league. I get Art's point. Bleep them, right? I mean, he's like, we don't need their crap. They're not really getting a Boise State deal where they're getting so much more money to come back in, like after the Big East folded. And did you want to go through it? I don't know. Where are you with this? Because I know this was something that was super emotional for fans around this league. where, especially because the show, the student section, that the Twitter page, the section, that group is very vocal and quite obnoxious on social media. And they were nothing less than arrogant and annoying and as they're leaving. And now they got to sit there and they got to eat it, and everybody else is on them, and you should be. But how do you feel now, right? San Diego State for now is staying in your league. Again, you can hate them all you want, and you should, right? That's the big dog in your league right now, and you've had a good basketball rivalry with them, certainly in the past. You've got all the history with, your coaches coaching there. Rocky Long was there. Danny Gonzalez was there. Zach Arnett, all these guys coached there. Mark Martinez, their baseball coach, used to coach here under Rich Alday. Right? So I understand the rivalry, and you should dislike them. I'm down with that. But I don't think any of you are going to come in here today or any other day and tell me that somehow the league is better without San Diego State, are you? I mean, I'm listening to it. I just don't know how we get there. 505-246-0610 is where I am, and how you get here. There just isn't a way. So do you dislike, are you satisfied with the way that it all went down, that the league basically is accepting San Diego State back in? Or are you with Art and saying, you know what, they should have told them to go pound and bleep them, we don't need their crap, and try to find some sort of penalty? I'm just not sure. I think it's worth what sort of litigation might have been there, and you got to move on with them. But I'd love to hear your thoughts at 505-246-0610. All right, all-star teams are out in baseball. We'll get there. And when we come back, a team I think is done as well as anyone. I see grades of B+, and man, I don't know. I think they're better. Who's winning in NBA free agency and why? And boy, are they handing out money. I mean, boy, are they handing out money. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
Makes a little sports analysis pop culture.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future and get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Sports animal.
All right, I'm going to hit the that NBA stuff here in a minute. But DC just went out and did some good work on this. So I'm going to read you the letters. I don't know if you've ever read them, heard the exact verbiage. I don't know what you've got in regards to San Diego State's communication with the Mountain West and the interpretation. So here's the deal on this. Back on June 13th, I'm not gonna read the whole thing to you, although the letter is not very long. The one that came in on the 13th. It says, this is from President Adela De La Torre from San Diego State. It says, Dear Commissioner Navarez, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you earlier today. Following the conversation, this letter is to clarify two important points. Actually, that's not that's not it. Let me give you this one. In a letter to the Mountain West Conference, she wrote, this letter is to formally notice that San Diego State University intends to resign from the Mountain West Conference effective June 30th, 2024, or at an agreed upon later date. It's been an absolute joy to collaborate and compete with each of the member universities. This letter also includes requests to extend the official June 30th, 2023 deadline exit for 1 month, given unforeseen delays involving other collegiate athletic conferences beyond our control. And she also asked to discuss the exit fee, considering San Diego State earned $10 million in NCAA tournament money. All right. So DC, I see your point. You said that they intend to resign, right? It says this is the notice that they resign. And I see the word intend in there. And that's their point is the word we intend. We intend. Now, is this their resignation? You decide however you want to interpret it. This is how the Mountain West responded. Okay. Dear Adela Torre, on behalf of the board of directors of the Mountain West Conference, I would like to thank you for your consideration and professionalism in discussing the resignation of San Diego State University. At the board meeting last week, SDSU has been an important member of the Mountain West, and it is with a heavy heart that we received this news. We wish you only the best in your new conference, and we'll work with you to ensure a smooth transition. To that end, and this is from Commissioner Navarez, I hereby confirm receipt on June 13, 2023, of your notice of resignation. That's how the league took it, notice of resignation. So we'll get into this today at 8 o'clock with Jeff Grammer. He's going to be with us. And I'm just going to tell you, I think we've got two different interpretations. I think the league realized that we're going forward with San Diego State, at least for now, that litigation is going to take longer and be more expensive than probably is worth it. And there is no argument that the league is better without San Diego State. They're just not. And so I think the league says, all right, for now, we are what we are. We don't have to make any big moves now. So you can get in on it, 505-246-0610. I'd love your thoughts and how you feel about it. But I mean, as far as the league is concerned right now, I think, the league wins right now. Right now. Now, let's see what happens. I think, when I saw this, DC, I was in Boston on whenever the hell this came out, Friday, and I got a text, and somebody said the implosion of the Pac-12 is next. And there's a big thought, and again, we'll talk with Jeff about this. Jeff Grammer is going to be with us at 8 from the Journal, that the Big 12 or the Pac-12 is in a lot of trouble. And I think this week we'll see some action. Maybe, Colorado might be the first move.
Colorado's an interesting one because when I was digging around, I was hearing a lot of different things, and I want to reach back to see where they're at this moment because it seems like everything I heard didn't happen.
Yeah. All right, I want to hit you on some free agency grades in the NBA, and I know a lot of people are talking about what Indiana did, what Miami has done. I'm going to tell you, I think the Lakers have done a not even sneaky good job. I think the Lakers have done a terrific job. And I look at some of the money that's thrown around, and so the Lakers, you make the argument we're the second best team in the West. Well, come on, Jeff. No, they weren't. I mean, they weren't better than Phoenix. They weren't. Well, I don't know. I mean, they got to the Western Conference Finals, right? Typically, that would define the second best team in the West. Now, if you want to tell me Phoenix was better, Phoenix gave Denver a bigger challenge, I'm listening. But right now, Phoenix is a big three, and what else? Like, what else is on that roster? They got Bradley Beal last week. Great move to go with Durant and Booker. But they got to construct a roster. Lakers still have AD and LeBron and D'Angelo Russell. They got Austin Reeves back for $56 million. I think that's a big victory. His max via an outside offer sheet would have been $102 million. I mean, look, he's going to be able to live on $56 million, but $102. They get Rui Hachimura signed 3 years for $51 million. I think that's a really good move by them. They still have D'Angelo Russell. And then they made some moves. Like Gabe Vincent, to me, is a sneaky good move.
Very good move.
Right? Gabe Vincent from UC Santa Barbara was the undrafted guard who made such an impact on the Miami Heat in the playoffs. I don't know that I love Taurean Prince and Jackson Hayes and Cam Reddish. But I look at it and I say, okay, those are pieces. And I don't know what LeBron's got. But as long as that guy's still playing ball, I'm still going to think he's still that guy. Is that wrong to think that?
No, not at all. That's completely fair, really. He showed no real signs of slowing down.
And I think he slowed down a little bit. You don't think so?
During the playoffs.
No, he was real in the playoffs. But he wasn't that 40-point-a-night guy in the playoffs. I mean, he's still really good. He's just not that guy a decade ago. And you know why? I mean, who's the only guy that's undefeated again? Father Time?
Father Time.
Dude's never lost. He's even going to get LeBron James. And Anthony Davis showed me in the playoffs that when it matters, dude is really legit. I think the Lakers have been sneaky good in this whole thing. I don't know if they've closed the gaps between themselves and the Nuggets, but Rob Pelinka I think showed last February that he's able to make in-season moves. And you know what? The word coming out of there is LeBron has stayed out of the front office. LeBron hasn't been there telling Rob Pelinka that he wants Russell Westbrook or what to do. And I think in large respect, the word coming out of LA is that's been a huge plus for the Lakers. Now, look, this thing's not over yet, and we got a long way to go. But I think it's been a huge plus for them. At least they all say so. What did Phoenix do? They had minimum contracts to work with. I think getting Eric Gordon yesterday was good. As their fifth starter, I think it's a home run for them, right? 11 years ago, Gordon signed an offer sheet with the Suns and publicly begged the Pelicans not to match it. And they didn't oblige, and they did match it. And now here he is a decade later. He gets his wish. I think that was a good move for them. They need depth.
Well, they definitely got it. That when I read that, I thought the Suns are going to be scary next year. And especially with Nuggets not really doing anything. I actually feel like they've fallen back a couple of spots at this point.
Do you think the Suns have?
The Nuggets.
The Nuggets. Why? Because they lost Bruce Brown.
That and I mean CBS gives them a D- because they really haven't done anything. That DeAndre Jordan, I guess it's something, but he's not getting a ton of minutes.
DeAndre Jordan signed?
Yeah.
Why?
It's a great question.
No, honestly, why?
From what I hear, it's a veteran presence in the locker room. People like him. He's kind of a coach on the sidelines.
All right, so they lose Bruce Brown. They get rid of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, right? So Reggie Jackson, 2 years, $10 million?
Yeah, that's a head scratcher.
They haven't done anything yet.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But what do you think about Bruce Brown getting 45 over 2 years?
God bless him.
I know. I totally agree.
No, God bless him.
Yeah.
I mean, you watched him more during the regular season than I did. He was terrific in the postseason and had a big moment in the postseason. And dudes get paid off of that. I mean, I just watched Gabe Vincent get paid off of that, right? Good for him. And the money they're throwing around, did I see over $1 billion just in the first day?
I believe it.
It just the money they're throwing around is bonkers.
It's $200 million is like nothing. It felt like
seriously.
So many guys got $200 million. Yeah. Guys, I haven't even really heard that much about.
100% right. No, you're dead on with it. And so that's what free agency is. And that's where it keeps going.
And let's remember, NHL free agency is going on. The Avalanche signed Jack Johnson for $775,000. Like,
different game.
Very, very different game.
Yeah, different game. And when we come back, the NFL camps are going to open up. He's a backup. He's been a starter. He says flat out, I am not a backup. There are not 32 guys better than me. Who is he, and do you believe him? I'll tell you what I think. Next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, Sports Animal.
Insurance is not a commodity you can buy off the shelf. You need a professional on your side to help you buy auto, home, life insurance.
Gateway Insurance. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Mountain West thing for now. And we'll hit it with Jeff Grammer coming up from the Albuquerque Journal at 8 o'clock this morning. But from what I'm understanding, there's going to be a like a buy back in. They're going to have to buy. I don't know if that's just going to be the withholding of the $6 million payout this year, but the presidents are going to decide. And this will be interesting to me because I'm going to believe that San Diego State thinks, well, we never opted out. Why do we have to buy back into a league that we never left? And I think the league may say, well, you kind of said you're leaving. So I think this is going to get interesting. And again, San Diego State's gone when they can be gone, right? I don't think anybody, A, doubts that, and B, holds it against them, right? Every one of these teams, whether it's New Mexico or Colorado State or UNLV or Fresno State, every one of these schools, the Pac-12, the Big 12, or whatever the numbers are, the Pac or the Big, or comes calling, they're gone, right? It's more money. So every one of them is going to be in that situation. Take it. I think people are just kind of going, big dog's got nowhere to go, and they're in a tough situation. All right. At what point do you realize, man, I'm not the guy anymore? What point do you realize? DC, you're a good quarterback in the NFL. You're a good quarterback. You're a starter. You're a veteran. Now you're still on teams, and you're a backup. At what point do you realize, man, there are 32 guys better than you? It's always got to be a tough one, right? Am I hanging on just to receive a check for $8 million a year to be a backup? Which, by the way,
it's good money.
Andy Dalton says there's not 32 guys better than me. Now, look, for 9 years in his career, he was the starting quarterback in Cincinnati. He was a good quarterback. His play merited that he was a starting quarterback. He declined. The Bengals landed Joe Burrow. He was out. He went to Dallas and other places. He was with the Bears. They got Justin Fields. He backed up Dak Prescott in Dallas. So he was the Saints too, wasn't he? Backing up Jameis Winston, and he played last year. So the Saints got Derek Carr. Dalton went to Carolina. So Carolina says, all right, come on over here. They have Andy Dalton. And Carolina moves up. They get number 1. They get Bryce Young. Dalton doesn't think he's a backup. Quote from Andy Dalton. I view myself as a starter in the league. I don't think there are 32 guys better than me. But if this is the situation I'm in, and I understand that, as soon as I don't think I'm one of the best 32 or a little lower, I'll be watching football on TV. Might be time, dude. Give me a place. Tell me where you think Andy Dalton is better than what they got at starting quarterback. Maybe Tampa Bay?
Maybe.
With Baker Mayfield?
Baker's still got a little left, though. I think I'd take Baker over Dalton.
Washington with, Sam Howell?
That would be one that maybe he could fit in and be the number 1.
We don't know about Jordan Love in Green Bay?
They have high hopes for him.
I know they do. You got another one? What about Atlanta?
That's an interesting one. I like developing the young guy, though. They've got a year in.
Well, they all do. They all want to develop the young guy instead of going with the marginal veteran. Right? But I mean, if you want to win right now, you got to win a game on Sunday. Desmond Ridder or Andy Dalton?
Oh, my goodness. That's a good question. I probably would go Dalton.
All right. So I got 3 spots, maybe. Houston, they got the rookie. I don't see anywhere else, do you? Mac Jones?
I'd take Mac Jones.
Maybe.
I can see the debate there.
Sam Darnold?
Ooh.
Right?
Very similar.
All right, so there's 4 or 5 maybes out there, right? There's 4 or 5 maybes out there for Andy Dalton. He said he went to Carolina because he liked the coaches. He felt it was a good situation. Quote, I'm in a really good situation here. Frank Reich, the head coach, played till he was 38. He was a career backup. All right. He's 36 years old, 13th year in the league. I mean, this dude, hang on. Be the guy. Hang on till you're 40 and collect $8 million checks or whatever you're making, $4 million check, whatever backup quarterback's making these days. He said, I looked at the last couple of years and some of the situations didn't turn out the way I would have liked. Last year, I felt I played good football, but we didn't win as many games. And that's the most important thing. I have confidence in who I am as a player. Not a lot of people can say this is year 13 in the NFL. I feel good about where I am. It's fun to be in this position to help the next generation of quarterbacks, end quote. That's the answer. I mean, at 36, there's a few guys at 36. You know, we like to think because Tom Brady did it and Aaron Rodgers do it. Well, everybody's doing it till they're 36. Not really. No, not really. Aaron Rodgers is doing it deep into his career. And, I mean, I don't know. How many more you got? Matthew Stafford's doing it deep into his career. And that's it. How many older quarterbacks in their deep 30s do you see in the league right now? I don't. Well, tell me where I'm missing. I see Aaron Rodgers. I see Matthew Stafford. I think he's only 34. You see a lot of 35-plus quarterbacks because Brady and Rodgers are doing it. Everybody thinks, wow, I mean, he's young for quarterback. No, he's not. Because the quarterbacks that you love are in their 20s, are Mahomes and Herbert and Burrow and Allen and Fields and those are the guys you love, right? No, all the great quarterbacks you love right now, aside from Aaron Rodgers and, I mean, I don't know anybody who's really loving Matt Stafford right now. They're all this young generation. The older quarterbacks holding on now, the guys in their 30s, are Russell Wilson. Is Derek Carr in his 30s yet?
I
Maybe.
think he's 30, actually.
All right. Right, but that's what we're holding on to. There's just not that many. We see Brady do it, and we see Rodgers do it, and we see a couple of guys do it, but no. I think if you're Andy Dalton, man, you hang on to it and you're like, okay, you're stoked. Make a check, play a few games.
I will say, though, I like a backup who does feel like he's in a position that he's top 32.
100%. 100%. Give me that guy all week.
Absolutely.
But I just had the number 1 overall pick in the draft. I took Bryce Young, and he's my quarterback. Now, if I go to camp and I'm like, oh, that dude ain't ready. Andy Dalton tells me he played good football last year, but they didn't win. I don't know, man. My job's to win. If I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose getting this kid ready to play in this year's NFL. And that's just how I am. But Andy Dalton, maybe. I look around and I'm like, okay, maybe. But is he? God bless him, I guess. All right, 505-246-0610. That's how to get in today. Jeff Grammer's going to be with us coming up at 8. We're going to talk to him about a bunch of other stuff. Oh, by the way, there's another 35-year-old quarterback who wants to play. Been out of the game since 2016. Who's he? When we come back, are you ready for the return of him? I'm not sure anybody is. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future and get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Better? Do you like a guy who doesn't have all that wear on his tread? There's a 35-year-old quarterback who says, hey, I can still play. I'm ready to go. Would you look at him too? If you're the Buccaneers, if you're who are the teams I just gave you that might be looking, that Andy Dalton might be better? If you're Washington, if you're Tampa Bay, if you're Houston, Houston's going to go with the rookie, right? But if you're one of those teams, Atlanta's going to stay with their young guy. Your guy be Colin Kaepernick. 6.5 years he's been out of the league. Colin Kaepernick still wants to play in the NFL. He did an interview with Sports Illustrated last week. He says he's still working out 5 to 6 days a week. He's still holding out hope that at least one team will give him a chance to return to the National Football League. Quote, I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep fighting for it because I know I can step on the field and play. Every workout, every opportunity, I've got to show that. The feedback has always been positive. Everything from he's still an elite player to the workout was great. It was better than expected, end quote.
It was better than expected seems like someone being nice.
No, it's maybe because we expected nothing. I look,
that's true.
We go back to this a lot. There's no doubt he was shunned. He was blackballed. He was kept out of the league because of the political stance. I mean, there's just no doubt. There is an argument when we have the conversation about how good was Colin Kaepernick. Yes, he took a team to the Super Bowl. But people tell me all the time he'd have been an elite quarterback, and I'm not certain I think that's right. Because one thing I've watched in this league is if a guy's going to be an elite quarterback and take you to where you think you're going, you're probably going to find a way to sign him. He wants teams to put their, quote, political bias, end quote, aside and give him a chance. Here's another quote from him in Sports Illustrated. Obviously, there's something else within this decision. To me, that's typically what it ends up being or has been for the last 7 years. So I just want the opportunity to come in, show what I can do on the field, judge me based upon that, not the political bias that you have, end quote. So, I don't know, man. So if a guy's calling out, you're telling you have a political bias, or you're going to, I Colin, and I'm trying to find the right way to say this, because I think by calling out people isn't going to get you a better chance, right? And I understand. Look, if anybody's got a right to be angry, bitter, I imagine it's him, right? He took a stand. He's the guy who is the poster boy for losing his career over taking a stand or taking a knee in this situation. He's gotten 0 offers since he left the Niners. He said, quote, when I had my workout with the Raiders last year, even training with guys, there's a decent amount of people who may have forgotten what I was capable of doing on the field. So any chance to be able to remind people of what I can do out there, I look forward to embrace. And I look forward to the day that I get to step on the field and show people what I can do. I've heard a lot of excuses over the years, but most of the time it ends up, we're going to see how the guys that we have do. With the Raiders situation last year, that was Jarrett Stidham and Nick Mullins, which to me, you just compare resumes and capabilities on top of the workout and the feedback. It's like, okay, cool. Nick Mullins and Jarrett Stidham better than Colin Kaepernick? I don't know. I haven't seen Colin Kaepernick play. I mean, back when Colin Kaepernick was good, I would have taken Colin Kaepernick over Jarrett Stidham and Nick Mullins.
That's fair. I think most people would.
Now, I don't know if I think he's a starting quarterback. In fact, I know I don't think he's a starting quarterback in this league. I don't think you can not play for 6 years and be a starting quarterback. I don't know that I think he was an elite quarterback then. I always liked Colin. Colin was an incredibly polite, cordial guy. Did you know, I'm going to localize this a bit, but did you know he played in our game in 2007?
I did not.
He was a freshman with Nevada. New Mexico beat Nevada 23-0 in New Mexico Bowl, the second one. And I would see Colin every year after that at the media days for the next 3 years. He was a freshman, so I would see him at sophomore, junior, senior year. Incredibly polite young man, came up, recognized me. We talked, cerebral, well-spoken. Like, I really, really, really liked him. I know a bunch of you are going to turn on me on that, and that's fine. But back in the day, I really liked him. He took a stand, and he's paid, I don't know, probably more than any athlete outside of the 1968 Olympics, Mexico City, right? The raised fist, the glove fist at the Olympics. But probably more than any athlete in the last 40 years is paid for taking a social stance. Do you think? I mean, can you give me somebody else who's paid with their career for taking a social stance?
Not at that level.
And we're not having an argument about that, right?
Right.
I mean, the reason he didn't get another chance to play is because of that.
Now, he did get an offer from the Broncos that he said was below market value, so he had a chance.
Did he get an offer?
He did in 2018.
Okay, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, John Elway made an offer. He felt that it was below market value, and he declined.
All right.
He also got a pretty big payout from the NFL. We don't know how much.
Yeah, he did.
But
yeah, he did. Yeah. But he paid with his career, right? I mean, I didn't know. So the Broncos made him an offer in 18? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he likes to say he hasn't had opportunities, but he's done plenty of tryouts. He's
had a few tryouts. I don't know, plenty. He's had a few tryouts. Look, I'm not telling you that he played no part in this. That's hardly what I'm saying. I mean, I think he knew what he was getting into. Maybe he didn't know the extent of what he was getting into. And I'm not even going to sit here and start opening the can of worms on politics on this. We're not going to play that game today. But I don't know. Where do you think he would fit in now? In an Andy Dalton role? I mean, I have no idea because I haven't seen him play.
I know it's so tough because if I'm going back 7 years, I'd take Kaepernick all day over Dalton. But 7 years is a long time to be away from the football field.
No, but he's been working out. He hasn't been hit. I agree with you 100%. And we keep saying, well, 35 is in the prime for quarterbacks. It's really not, man. I mean, the Bradys and the Rodgers are rare. They are. They just are.
Yeah, you're talking about some of the best quarterbacks in the history of the league.
Well, and we're talking about two of them.
Right, exactly.
I mean, give me another old guy quarterback again. I forget who we're talking about. I mean, Stafford's only 34 and he's breaking down, right?
Russell Wilson's breaking down at 34.
Yeah. Those are your old quarterbacks in this league.
Yeah, getting over 35 is a feat of strength for sure.
I'm just looking around. Everybody's gone young. Everybody. Allen, Tagovailoa, Mac Jones. I mean, Lamar's young. Burrow's young. Deshaun's young. Pittsburgh's guy's young. Houston's gone young. Indy's gone young. Jacksonville's gone young. It's Ryan Tannehill, 33-ish.
He's not young anymore.
No, but he's not good. He's not elite. How about that? You in fact, I don't even think you have him in the top half. Yeah. All right, Jeff Grammer of Albuquerque Journal is going to join us when we come back. We're going to talk college sports. We're going to talk about the San Diego State stuff. Maybe a little bit of the TBT as that team puts itself together for the basketball tournament coming up here in a few weeks. So much has gone on, and looking forward to catching up with Jeff Grammer. That'll be next. It's the opening drive. Glad you're with us. Thank you for being with us on El 3 de Julio, 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Channel.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're #1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
JJ's off today. We're going to be joined by Jeff Grammer here in a moment. I want to wrap up the conversation we've just been having. It's the opening drive. Good morning to you, Jeff. And DC 505-246-0610, and we've been talking about NFL quarterbacks and the Colin Kaepernick thing. Before I get to Jeff, I just Tony's been holding. I want to get him in. Tony, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. What's happening?
Why, good morning and happy pre-fireworks day.
Happy, yeah, like it's pre. There's plenty of fireworks tonight,
right?
Yeah, put your.
So, you know what? Take off your three-time sportscaster of the year cap and put on GM cap.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you taking Cam Newton or you taking Colin Kaepernick?
Well, I'd like to see. I'd like to see what Colin Kaepernick can do. I mean, if they work out the same, I'm taking Cam Newton. If Kaepernick's better, I'm taking Kaepernick.
Who's younger?
I think Cam Newton. I'm not even certain, but I think Cam Newton.
Because I remember Denver offering him a contract. They never released any numbers as to what the contract was, but you know what? If you did, he could have used this as a stepping stone. He could have used it.
No, that's right.
But
it's on him.
He's still in the mentality of Cam Newton NFC Championship game.
Newton's 34.
Guy.
Cam Newton's 34. He's younger.
So, anyway, I just wanted to see what you would have thought as far as
I'd look at him. I'd look at him. And if they're the same, I'm probably taking Cam. And if Kaepernick's better, I'm taking Kaepernick. Enjoy the weekend, man, or weekend. Enjoy the week. I'll talk to you later. See you. Cam Newton's 34. Kaepernick's 35. Russell Wilson's 34. All right.
The reported offer was $7 million a year for Kaepernick from the Broncos.
And he didn't take that?
Did not.
All right. I got zero sympathy with that. Not that I had a ton of it before, but with all due respect, really? Really?
Yes. He expected to make a lot more.
100% on him.
Yeah.
100% on him. All right. I want to welcome in I guess no longer are he and I reigning because the national sports media. Well, we are till tonight, Jeff. I think tonight in Winston-Salem is the NSMA Awards. So for another couple of hours, you and I are the reigning New Mexico sportscaster and sports writer of the year. Jeff Kramer, Albuquerque Journal, joins us. How you living?
I'm good, and I will absolutely take the reign until they take it out of my hands.
Yeah, it was DC last year in Winston-Salem. Jeff and I were both honored back there, and so I think we got another few hours. What's happening, man? It's good to hear you. How you living?
I'm good, man. How about you? I know you're back, but I know you had an interesting weekend getting back, huh?
Yeah, travel sucks, dude. I'm just going to tell you. Yeah, we got stuck in Denver on Saturday night. And the flight just coming back from Boston, flight delayed, and go find yourself a hotel. You're on your own. But we're home, and it's good, man. It's good. My daughter was in Philly over the week during the week, and her flight up to Boston got canceled. They took a train, and it is what it is. Hey, I want to start here on the San Diego State stuff, and it came out Friday, and God, there's so many angles to this. Can we just start with the wording on this? And it feels like President De La Torre put out this letter on the 13th. It was like, to me, it was a letter of our intent that we intend to leave, right? And the league took it as their resignation. She put it out early in hopes that there would be support for San Diego State to get an extension on the deadline, and B, a reduction on the payout. Neither happened. The league took it as a buyout. Now they're back in, and I'm hearing that there's going to be some sort of, they have to buy back into the league. Is that what you're hearing?
I am hearing that, but man, I'm sort of I want to see it before I believe it. I get you want as the Mountain West to make sure San Diego State knows, look, we held firm and we kind of won this moment, and you don't get to flirt with every other league and tell everybody around the country you're leaving us and you're so happy to get rid of us. And then when you need us back, we don't do anything about it. Like, I get all that, but just let him back in. At this point, that I have no problem with the Mountain West not flinching about negotiating an extra month to maybe give them a chance to basically get out of the league without paying the July 1st, doubling the $34 million instead of the $17 million. I had no problem with any of that. In fact, I think that was the wise thing to do. But making them buy back in now because of about a 2-week window of kind of silliness, really. The letter is what it is, by the way. The letter of intent, we intend to do this. I think look, I don't know contract law as well as people might think I do as a sports reporter, but I'll tell you this, like, I've covered letters of intent here in Albuquerque that were pretty important.
Yeah, I think Jeff, when we're going to get into lawyers, right? You're going to have a litigation on this.
Yeah.
They're going to say, is it worth it? And I'm wondering if, and I'm sure San Diego State wouldn't be happy with this, is withholding their $6 million going to be the answer and we're done?
I would be shocked if San Diego State, even though look, they lost this moment and they look kind of foolish right now. A little bit.
They do. They look
some egg on their face, right?
Yeah.
But I'd be shocked if they just kind of sat back and said,
agree with that.
We'll chalk up the $6 million to our mistake. Like,
totally.
I just don't think the Mountain West presidents is as powerful as they are in this moment, in this negotiation. I just don't think they're going to end up holding them to it. Now, I could be way wrong. And I know I've talked to two people at schools in the Mountain West that are pretty confident right now that they're in such a good spot that, they can make San Diego State do whatever they want, and maybe they will. I just don't see it.
What's the point? What's the point, Jeff? Give me some sort of argument, because I don't think there is one. This league is better without San Diego State.
No, I don't think there is one either. I mean, look, Boise State has sort of, if the worst thing you can say San Diego State has become is a little bit annoying talking about how good they are, and a little bit annoying about how they're always talking about they're about to leave at the first chance they get. That's what Boise State football was for a little while. And if that's the worst of it, okay. Like, who cares about that?
Let me tell you this. Every one of those teams in that league, and I don't care if you go from Wyoming to Hawaii to Fresno State to New Mexico, pick one. Every one of them, if they get an offer from the Pac-12 or the Big 12, is going to. They're doing the same thing.
Not a one would even hesitate, and it doesn't make sense to, ultimately what's best for the league, right? You're supposed to make the decision what's best for the league and what's best for your individual institution. I don't know that San Diego State's membership hurts any single institution so much so that it's worth keeping them out of the league and keeping them out of what could be a pretty healthy future media rights deal. Should they, I don't think they're going to stay long term, but should they actually stay long term, that would be better for the league. So yeah, of course, you let them back in. You kind of chalk this up to not the first time San Diego State has gone down the path of not only are we thinking about leaving, but we're doing it. This was pretty out there that they were going to the Pac-12 and Big 12 would be the fallback if they needed to. Well, they had signs up in Times Square for the Big East. So that, it's kind of been down this road before, different circumstances, obviously.
Yep.
But you let them back in. You absolutely let them back in.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal, is with us this morning on the opening drive on the Sports Animal. All right, so what happens? I was back east when this went down. I get a text with this, and a buddy of mine said Pac-12 is going to implode. And I know there's a really strong chain of thought on this, that the Pac-12 is in a lot of trouble. They're not in a great spot right now. What do you think's happening? I mean, and I know it's speculation on your part, right? I know it's speculation. Yeah. But the Pac-12, my gut, if Colorado leaves, all of a sudden this thing gets really wobbly.
I agree, and I think kind of where we're at here is not just a sports, or not just a college football, college realignment sort of discussion. I really think that the ground that streaming has been gaining the last several years, streaming is here, right? Cutting the cord is actually a couple of years old, the discussion of that. A lot of people have already cut the cord, all that stuff. We're talking about Netflix now trying to get F1 racing because they're late to the game and getting live sports on streaming devices, on their streaming network. And I really think the Pac-12 is just trying to figure out how best to capitalize on a media rights deal that might involve some of that. So I just think their delay put San Diego State in such a bad spot, because I don't know for sure when they're talking about our media rights deal is going to be creative, more creative than anything you see. That doesn't sound great necessarily.
Sounds like Larry Scott's running it again too.
Well, right. And I also just think we're at such a weird spot in the media and sports media landscape where I don't know if the Pac-12 knows what's best, because we're at if you can't get an ESPN network, like, an SEC network or something like that, well, then your alternative can't be the Pac-12 network, and it's what it was.
Well, it could be, Jeff. It could be, Jeff.
They're looking at Apple TV and stuff like that, and I just don't think they know what to do, what price point to put it at.
But I think the Pac-12 network could be if you would somehow get it distributed. For crying out
Yeah,
loud,
no,
we're 5-6
agreed.
years
Yeah.
in on this thing, and how the hell they never got it widely distributed. And I understand, and for I think there's a lot of people who don't understand the SEC network and the ACC network are ESPN entities, so they are owned and operated by ESPN, so they're available everywhere ESPN is available, which is everywhere. The Big Ten did a great job with their distribution. The Pac-12 was so arrogant with their rights, and I use that term because I think it's the right one, that they never got distribution. And if a game in so many markets or on so many, it's not even markets, it's whatever your outlet is, whatever your carrier is, you can't watch Pac-12 content, which is, I don't want to say killed them, but certainly hampered them.
I do think that people that need to, or not me, that I don't mean it like that, but people that want to understand the college athletics landscape, they know and they hear people talk about how, football drives the bus because of the media rights deal. Well, the Pac-12 shows exactly how valuable and how unvaluable, how diminished your product can be if you don't just put it in the homes of people that want to watch the product, because the Pac-12 was a Power 5 conference, or it still is considered a Power 5 conference. I don't know that it will be in about 5 years. We'll see. But it was there until people just couldn't watch it anymore. You can watch the other Power 4 conferences. You can't even watch the Pac-12 network in so many homes around the country. And look where they are now. It does start having a trickle-down effect on the product on the field because of the payouts it has. And it just didn't have the same kind of payouts and won't moving forward that the other Power 5 conferences have. So I do think that that's a good sort of litmus test as to, okay, how valuable really is that whole TV deal? Well, the Pac-12 has shown you it's pretty valuable.
Incredibly. You got a little time in you? I got to take a break.
I'm here.
All right. When we come back, I'd like to, Jeff, discuss, what do you think? Does the Pac-12 survive? And if they do, what do they look like? If they don't, how valuable is that to the Mountain West? And how does that happen? Jeff Grammer's with us, and we're going to continue that discussion with him next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Want to save big on custom faux wood?
Mitch, there's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. Upstairs goes the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, LaCueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there. As La Cueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman, quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch, and she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.
Costly errors allowed Cleveland to get 1 run back. That one's hit on the ground to the left side. Throw to first in time. Throw home. Got her! Whoa, what a play!
Next door or something. Not sure, but they came out here, and Ellison cracks an RBI out to left field. That's where you got to do it. 1 run, 2 run, and this game could very well be over. It's a play at the plate. It's sliding, and that will do it. The Rams walk off the La Cueva Bears. It's a 3-run batted in shot by Dean Ellison.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Today, it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal. We're talking about the Pac-12, Mountain West, San Diego State thing. And Jeff, I appreciate the time. Let me ask you this before we get into the Pac-12. I think the league, the Mountain West, Jeff, it looks strong on this. I think what they're doing here, and this may not be worth litigating going forward with San Diego State, but running them through the ringer a little bit, looking strong, and if there's negotiations with Washington State, Oregon State, I don't know what you think as up to now because this isn't done, but I think the league has handled this pretty well.
I do too, and I was thinking the other day about this. I don't know. I think they would have only not looked good had they done well. Doing what they did makes them look really good, but I don't know what else they should have done. Like there wasn't really an alternative.
That's right.
I don't think in the world of business you be nice about a deadline like that and just say, okay, you're leaving us. You're about to make us a little less valuable because make no mistake, people can have their fun right now that don't like San Diego State, but they are still the most valuable piece of the Mountain West puzzle right now. You can. I don't think the Mountain West could have really done anything other than what they did, but they did it, and you credit them for sometimes doing the obvious thing is what you give them credit for. That's what I'm giving them credit for, and they are standing strong. And I think this is actually long term putting them in a good spot. Like they don't look. What I'm glad they didn't do is while there were a lot of think pieces and a lot of columns and blogs and discussions about, well, who do they add? If San Diego State leaves, who do they add? A lot of discussion about all that stuff. The people you didn't hear that from were the Pac-12. The Mountain West commissioner, the Mountain West
presidents,
ADs in schools. Because had they done that, and then we're in this exact same situation, it would have kind of tipped their hand that maybe they were a little panicky. Maybe they were trying to figure out we're not strong enough without San Diego State. Right now, what they look like from a business standpoint is We were willing to stand strong without San Diego State, without having to add any of these other schools that, frankly, I don't know what value any other school that could have come right now would have added. Now, that doesn't mean they can't add now that the Pac-12 situation is still kind of up in the air. And if it's a Pac-12 school, I think there are a couple options maybe that could add some value to the league.
All right, let's go there. What happens with the Pac-12? What do you? I mean, look, I know this is a full crystal ball thing, and you and I don't know. Yeah. But we've talked a lot about Colorado. Colorado feels like they've got one foot out the door. This thing is dragged and dragged and dragged, and that league is not really stable. What do you think is going to happen?
I've been leaning for a long time, and I frankly still kind of lean this way. I know that the Arizona schools discussion has sort of backed off a little bit, and Colorado seems to be maybe the only one the Big 12 is really looking at right now, and I'm not sure if that's true or not. But I'm still leaning towards in the next few years, it may not be this year right away, but in the next, I'd say 2 years, I think the Arizona schools go to the Big 12, and I think Colorado goes to the Big 12. And that leaves, Utah with a really tough decision to make. Do they chase the Big 12? If the Big 12 wants them as a full member, I mean, there's value in Salt Lake, obviously. But I just don't see the Pac-12 in its current existence being there in 2 or 3 years.
What happens to Washington and Oregon then?
What's that?
What happens to Washington and Oregon?
And that's the big one. Washington and Oregon, as it pertains to the Mountain West, I think those are the key ones that you just mentioned. I do think that they end up finding their way into a Big Ten that then sort of is a across the country. Obviously, they already have the 2 Los Angeles schools. So I think at that point, Washington and Oregon become a Big Ten member. They'll find a way. The Big Ten will find a way to invite them, and Oregon and Washington will certainly take it at that point. And I think Washington State and Oregon State are the only 2 schools that, I shouldn't say the only 2, but they do make a little bit of sense for the Mountain West in that it does open up a whole nother piece of the puzzle. It expands from a market standpoint a little bit, but I know those 2 schools don't exactly, independent of being Oregon's travel partner and being Washington's travel partner. I don't know that Washington State and Oregon State add a ton of value themselves individually, but I think getting in the Pacific Northwest for the Mountain West would be pretty much the one piece to the next step of conference realignment that I could see them doing, and I could see those 2 schools being possibly invited.
Jeff Grammer, Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal's with us. I'm going to argue with you a little bit. So first of all, on Washington State and Oregon State, I think they bring great value to this league. If it ended up where they came into the Mountain West, I think they bring great value because Corvallis does bring you Portland a little bit and brings you Oregon, right. And the amount of Washington State alumni in Seattle and everywhere. Like Washington State's one of those sneaky big alumni schools that they've got people everywhere with a great tradition. And I agree with you getting into the Pacific Northwest. I think those 2 schools, if it comes this way, if the Pac-12 crumbles and those schools join the Mountain West, I think the Mountain West is a big winner. And I think I don't know what the word would be just below a power conference, but I think they benefit hugely. Stanford and Cal are interesting to me. I think Stanford would try independence, and I don't know what happens to Cal.
Yeah, and I've had people asking me about that too. Well, obviously Cal and Stanford would be great for the Mountain West. Well, Stanford might. I think you'd probably take Stanford if you could, but I don't know that Stanford needs the Mountain West. Stanford could probably make a run at going independent. I guess you could argue, did it work for BYU or not? I think I think Stanford could probably pull off being independent for a little while. But you're right, Cal. I don't know. See, the Bay Area, and maybe San Jose State shows this a little bit. Getting into the Bay Area, I don't know what it means. There's so much going on in the Bay Area. I don't know that you really need to sort of get into that area as much as people think, and San Jose State is already there. So look, I don't know that Cal is going to have a home in about 2 years, and they're certainly not going to be in a position of power as its football membership stands. Obviously, there's more West Coast options for non-football, but Cal's going to be an interesting one. I don't think the Mountain West needs to take them just for the sake of taking them. Just because they were in the Pac-12 doesn't make them a valuable piece. Remember, adding all these pieces, people do need to remember, like, the pie is only so big. You're just cutting the slices of pie up a little bit smaller, meaning every school gets a little bit less money for every school you add. If the school you're adding isn't going to make the TV executives say, let's throw more money at them now, well, then it doesn't really bring value to the league because the school presidents are just getting less money each time you add a school.
Right. All right, so it sounds like you think within 2 years that there's going to be a Power Four, that the Pac-12 is going to be disassembled, and I mean, because I think common thought is San Diego State's here for now, but they're going to bounce when they can. They may end up here long term, and others join it. Is kind of what you're saying.
I think so, man. Like I don't know how the Pac-12, even without UCLA and USC, I just don't know how much longer they can really get that sort of Power 5 respect. In basketball, we know there's a Power 6 because the Big East, they don't have football, but like I just don't know how without USC and UCLA you can really argue and look the other Power 4 then in the eyes and say, yeah, we're equal to you on everything that you guys bring to the table in terms of market values and just consistent success of our teams. I just don't think the Pac-12 is going to have that much longer. That's why I always sort of wondered if this was never really going to happen for San Diego State. And if it wasn't a blessing in disguise, had San Diego State last week, had they had their offer from the Pac-12, but maybe it was before the media rights deal was settled, you know, had they gone to the Pac-12 and then a month from now that media rights deal gets settled and it's a horrible deal, you know, might have put San Diego State in a really bad spot. I think the Pac-12's already put San Diego State in a bad spot by all of this.
Here's my biggest concern. What happens to Bill Walton in the Conference of Champions?
You're telling me.
Right? I mean, well, I love my bike. It's the Conference of Champions. What happens to Bill Walton if there's no Pac-12? You know what I'm saying?
He will still be broadcasting Pac-12 games somewhere. There may not be a Pac-12 game sitting in front of him, but he'll be courtside somewhere, and he'll be talking up a storm about it. And it'll still be good radio. There
I will listen.
Be a game on.
I will listen.
I'll love it.
He's the only guy, Jeff, that I will listen to a game that I might not watched just to listen to him. I can't think of another broadcaster, but he is that guy. Do you have one more in yet? Because I want to talk to you a little bit about Greg Heiar getting hired at Mineral Area College and what moving conferences means for New Mexico State. You got a few minutes left?
Yep, I'm in.
All right, appreciate you. Jeff Grammer from the Albuquerque Journal is with us this morning. It's the opening drive. Thank you for being with us on 95.9 FM and AM 610 The Sports Animal.
This report brought to you by Quality by DiLorenzo, Lomas.
Pitch. There's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. Upstairs goes the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, La Cueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there. As La Cueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman. Quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch. And she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.
Costly errors allowed Cleveland to get one run back. That one sent on the ground to the left side. Throw to first in time. Throw home. Got her! Whoa, what a play!
Next door or something. Not sure, but they came out here, and Ellison cracks an RBI out to left field. That's where you got to do it. 1 run, 2 run, and this game could very well be over. It's a play at the plate. It's sliding, and that will do it. The Rams walk off the La Cueva Bears. It's a 3-run batted in shot by Dean Ellison.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sound 7 on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
Jeff's limited discussion on and about the Kaepernick availability issue is proof that sports talk radio shows don't cover social issues very well. Any consideration of Kaepernick's availability has clearly been obstructed by the NFL's collusion. We spent hours and probably weeks on Kaepernick. And we'll spend more time on it in a bit. But I appreciate the feedback. 505-246-0610. Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal, is with us. And last week, Jeff, your alma mater settled with the 2 defendants in a lawsuit in the hazing, sexual assault charges of the basketball program for about $8 million. I heard the number about 2 weeks ago, and I'm not going to lie, I thought I was floored. Somebody asked me, somebody in the know asked me, how much do you think? I came in way lower than that. What'd you think when you heard about $8 million to the 2?
Blown away. I've covered, in a previous journalistic life, I was a crime reporter and a courts reporter, and I've covered settlements, man. Like there were 2 factors that really blew me away about this. The lawsuit was officially filed April, I think 27th, mid-April, right? For resolution from state risk management in a civil lawsuit like this to have taken place in 2 months is pretty interesting in and of itself. Just the timing from lawsuit to settlement was really, really quick. I know there were some reasons. There is a basketball program that wants to move on. You got two accusers, plaintiffs in this case, that want to potentially move on with their basketball careers. There's reasons for it, but that doesn't ever really speed things up in general, right? Like, the fact that this happened in 2 months was one big factor. And you're right, the $8 million blew me away.
Yep, me too.
You don't settle in 2 months' time and come to an agreement at $8 million unless you are very, very much taking the allegation seriously. This is not a let's settle it so we can move on and just kind of make it go away thing. $8 million is a huge settlement in the state of New Mexico, and for these allegations, and it shocked me a little bit. It really, really surprised me.
Me too. I had heard the initial ask was north of 21 million. And they came down at 1.16 and they walked away from the table, and this is where they ended. I was stunned by it. I think a lot of people were shocked that Greg Heiar, the basketball coach who was fired by New Mexico State, got a job just in the last 3 days, Mineral Area College in Missouri. He's back in the junior college ranks. Everything had been settled in regards to him, and he's able to move on with his life. And whether, no matter what you think of Greg, I think his track record tells you he's a good basketball coach, and that's what Mineral Area College saw. I'm not going to lie. I was a little surprised, not angry, surprised that he got a job so quickly.
Yeah, I was, first of all, I was surprised too. There are pieces to, this isn't credit necessarily, but I will acknowledge that Mineral Area College's press release. First of all, junior college putting out a press release for a coaching hire usually doesn't get a whole lot of attention, but in this case, obviously, for obvious reasons, it did. And what it said in there was it acknowledged that Greg Heiar doesn't have a perfect past, or I think it said his past isn't without controversy. So they acknowledged that something may have happened. It didn't say what happened, of course, but it said something may have happened in his past. So them acknowledging that, I give them, I guess, a little bit of credit, or for context, I think it's good that they did that. But at the bottom, it said, for media inquiries, it didn't say the athletic director's name. It said school president. I forget his name off the top of my head, but it gave the school president's email address. And it said, we understand there might be some questions. Go ahead and contact the school president, and here's how. And I thought that was interesting. They knew this was coming. So this wasn't they didn't do their diligence. They knew exactly what they were getting into when they did this. They did contact Mario and New Mexico State. While Mario and New Mexico State on the record are not saying what their recommendation or non-recommendation, what their comments were of Greg Heir's performance, I don't think it's really in this kind of weird space of we don't know what they said. They fired him for cause. I don't think, a couple months after firing Greg Heiar for cause, NMSU was giving him positive recommendations for his next coaching gig so quickly. I don't think they even can do that while there still may be litigation over how much they may or may not owe Greg Heiar if Greg Heiar goes after his contract.
Jeff, I think the answer at that point is yes, he was employed here. I really think legally you're allowed to say yes, he was employed here. Yes, he was, and I think you can't really get into any negative. And if in this situation, probably just answered yes, he was here. Yes, he came to work regularly.
And that was about it. And whatever background you want to know on how things happen or whatever, I don't think New Mexico State necessarily got into that with Mineral Area College. But I will say this: I did think Greg Heiar would get back into basketball probably next year. I didn't think it'd be this year. Thought he might have to do some. Sometimes some personal training kind of things for a year, but I thought he'd get back into scouting or some sort of coaching gig next year. I didn't think it'd be a head coaching gig even in the first several years, even at the junior college level. Just, I guess, didn't even occur to me that head coaching would be his next gig. So I was really surprised by this. We'll see how it plays out. I'll bet you they're pretty competitive. I know that he still has friends in the business, very, very much so. Guys that helped get him the job at New Mexico State are still his friends, and I think he will still be able to get some good recruits. And at that level, you get one or two good players. That's what you need at the junior college level to be really competitive. I'll bet you they're pretty competitive.
Yeah, I think so too.
I would be shocked if he coaches at the D1 level again.
I agree.
but he's going to probably have some success at his job right now.
Hey, Jeff, is this a stretch? And Jeff Grammer's with us, Albuquerque Journal. You know, when Mike Locksley got to UNM, and I like Mike. I still see Mike. I know people get mad at me when they say, what do you mean you like Mike Locksley? I like Mike. Mike was a really nice guy, good personality, obviously a really good football coach. Might not have been ready for this job when he got it. I think Greg Heyer, in some respects, you know, the time you spent with him, personable guy. People seem to like him. Obviously, a good coach. Might not have been ready. I've made some comparisons that now certainly the offenses were not similar, or the results of what happened in the programs. But I look at people and people mature and grow up at different points in their life, and both of them ascended head coaching ranks and maybe just weren't ready for those jobs. And obviously Mike has turned this around and had an incredibly successful career, and he's killing it at Maryland right now. Do you see any similarities there?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Obviously you preface it with the proper context. You know, let's take the circumstances of why things didn't work out of the equation. When you're just talking about coaching, you have a guy who got his first opportunity because he was a well-respected recruiter primarily, but also a coach. It wasn't like all he did was recruit. In either case, Locksley when he got here, or in Greg Heyer's case, it wasn't just a recruiter. He also worked with teams, right? He also worked with player development, things like that. So they got here largely in the same way, through the same kind of channels of the coaching world. They were respected recruiters who looked like they were ready for their first coaching gig. And then they just couldn't manage the job, right? Again, circumstances aside, they weren't good managers of the program.
At that
I think that's fair to say for both of them. And then they learned from that. Well, Locksley, I would say, learned from that, surrounded himself with maybe different kinds of people, is running the things. He certainly learned from Alabama on how to run a program. And maybe Greg does that too. I don't know. None of us know at this point. That's crystal ball stuff. But I think Greg Heyer, to this point, is exactly what Mike Locksley was. A guy who you can understand why he got his first coaching opportunity. They got there the same way in a lot of ways. And then just couldn't manage it. Just was not a good manager in his early time as the head coach.
All right, I'm going to get you out of here on this, and I know you got obligations, and I'm really, really appreciative of your time today. As of Saturday, New Mexico State is in Conference USA. This will mean what? What does it mean for the entire athletic program? Aside from the obvious, they got a more stable home for football. You can make an argument, although Conference USA had a great basketball postseason last year. Those teams that had the runs are all gone to the American now. Long term for New Mexico State and immediate, it means what? That they're in Conference USA.
It's good. It really, really is good. There's a reason, people want to talk. I don't want to sidetrack it right at the end. People want to talk about Mario Mocha through all this. Like Mario Mocha getting them into Conference USA is the biggest feather in Mario Mocha's cap, probably, and some bowl games for the football program, of course, too. But this is huge. I didn't think any league was going to take New Mexico State probably 3-4 years ago. I thought they were forever independent, maybe had to actually consider dropping football at some point. All those things, I thought finally it might finally actually be time to think about those things. But getting into Conference USA stabilizes FBS football for them, and it's a huge thing. Conference USA has some rebuilding to do a little bit, but it is a conference, and it is so much better being in a rebuilding Conference USA than being independent. And this is pretty significant, I think, for the program overall. I don't necessarily care for Conference USA for basketball overall and all that stuff, but New Mexico State University athletics, just from a conference standpoint, is in a much more stable place than it was a year ago, and it's a good thing for them. It really is. They're getting them once they pay their buyouts, which spreads out over like 6 years, or their entry fees rather. I think that spreads out over like 6 years. Once they get in full membership, I think they're getting about $2 million a year. That's $2 million for an athletic department that wasn't getting anything as an independent. That's a big amount of money for them.
Jeff, I sat in league meetings in Destin last month, 2 months ago now. Looked around that room and saw Jerry Kill and Rich Rodriguez and Mike McIntyre, and the year before Hugh Freeze. And I looked around, there's some really good coaches in that league. I'm not telling you it's the Mountain West, or I'm not telling you it's the SEC. But I think that they've got an opportunity to do some things and rebuild. And it reminded me of the WAC years ago when I sat there with the Dennis Ericksons and the Hal Mummies and Chris Alts and Jim Joneses. It was a great league back then. Hey, incredibly appreciative of your time. I know you got a lot of family stuff going on. It's a holiday weekend. Thank you for spending all the time with us. Keep up the great work, man. You do tremendous work, and always appreciate the conversation.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right, be well. Jeff Grammer, he is the New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year. He and I have like another, I think about 6 hours in our reign until they name new ones. Officially hand out the hardware for next year. So he's terrific, and I hope you enjoyed the insight. All right, what do you think? There was a lot in that, a lot of meat. I've got thoughts on what he thought about the Pac-12 maybe not being the Pac-12 here in 2 years. What Conference USA means for New Mexico State, and what should the league do about San Diego State? It's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future and get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors.
And I appreciate him spending 3 segments with us today. He's got a lot of family stuff, as do so many of you. We're open for you now, 505-246-0610. I think one of the biggest things, and DC, I don't know what you think, and Jeff is really good in the college space. It sounded like what he thinks is in a couple of years, he thinks the Pac-12 will not be there. That he feels that, if I heard it right, Colorado's leaning to go. And maybe not now, but Arizona and Arizona State soften their stance, and Utah's in a weird spot, and then Oregon and Washington end up in the Big Ten and what's left, and it ends up being a Mountain West that might be taking in Oregon State, Washington State.
It's a crazy thought, really. And I heard that too, as he said it. It made sense, everything laid out. I think when you look at it, San Diego State is a much bigger domino than maybe we were realizing at first.
Well, the other option is, and I've made this argument, I didn't get into it with Jeff. If Colorado goes to the Big 12, is San Diego State plug and play for the Pac-12? Do they stay at 10? Is San Diego State as valuable? Do they keep the league together? Would the Arizona schools stay? Because if you think about it, San Diego State's closer, or as close, and closer to the Arizona. Well, it is, right? San Diego State's closer to the Arizona schools than Colorado is. They all complain about having to go up to the altitude and the weather, right? Would San Diego State be enough to hold the Pac-10 together? And I didn't get into that with Jeff. If Colorado goes to the Big 12, would the Pac-12, or in this case, the Pac-10, right, be sustainable? Or, and then the other part of that conversation, and we didn't get there with Jeff, and if he was sitting here, we'd have hours to do this. Would they then want Colorado State and Fresno State or something along those lines? And that's where you'd like to see New Mexico get in the conversation. But if the Pac stayed together that way, Colorado leaves, is San Diego State plug and play? Is that market, that school? And I would argue that they are. I know that there's a tradition that people say, well, I mean, that Colorado's much more valuable than San Diego State. And I would ask you why. Because they've always been in a power conference? What's a more valuable market, San Diego or Denver? Well, as a television market, Denver alone is a bigger market, but San Diego State would represent Southern California. There's a lot of alumni in L.A. Well, Jeff, they didn't go to games while they were in L.A. That's a good point. But would they survive that way? And it's a real conversation. All right, I'm going to reset you here coming up at the top. You have your thoughts on what the league should do with San Diego State. Throw them out, fine them, not Kaepernick again. Oh, okay, here we go. 505-246-0610 and 3 de Mayo. 3 de Julio. It's not Mayo. 3 de Mayo was last month, 2 months ago. 3 de Julio. Hope you're enjoying what might be a day off for you. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Evergard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Proud to be a Cumulus media station, even if they're not that proud of us. Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico. for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
All right, got you a little NFL today. We got a lot of college talk. What do you think about the way San Diego State should be handled? And them coming back to the league, how long will it be? It's the opening drive, Jeff, and DC. San Diego State gave on June 13th their intend to leave. The league says, nope, that was your leaving. And then they say, no, we're not leaving. And so what should happen? Ned says the Mountain West is making the right move and showing San Diego State that they're not as important as San Diego State believes they are. The fine of $6 million, and that hasn't been said. They basically withheld, as of now, their $6 million in payout. They were going to put that towards their buyout. It says the fine of $6 million is a win either way for the Mountain West and sends a signal because it shows SDSU it can't just brush the money, move off, and write the check to the Mountain West and move on quietly. Or they pay and the Mountain West wins. Everyone knows the California State college system, which SDSU is a part of, doesn't have a lot of money to give away for fines. The Mountain West looks powerful in this battle either way. SDSU lost the poker match. Mountain West looks strong. They didn't beg San Diego State to stay either. All right, how do you feel? I think that's first a number of things here, and then we'll get to what you have to say. I think the Mountain West handled this well. Now, Jeff Grammer was with us from the Albuquerque Journal, and will we post that, DC? If you want to hear what Jeff had to say, that'll be wherever you get your podcast, wherever our stuff is, right?
Yeah, I should have it up 12, 15 minutes.
All right. Jeff says, what else were they going to do? What else could the league have done? Well, they could have said, you know what? Yeah, we'll grant your extension. They could have said, no, you're right. You just brought us in $10 million. We'll negotiate your fee and let you out for less. They didn't. Obviously, Adela De La Torre, the president of San Diego State, felt confident that they would do that. I got to believe if she didn't send that letter on the 13th, stating their intent to give their resignation and ask for all that stuff, they'd have been better off. Now, what if she would have just sent the letter and said, hey, we are considering, would you consider extending the deadline, and would you consider a reduced payout? Without the saying, hey, we intend to, but instead of saying we are considering. Would have put San Diego State in a different place, and probably they wouldn't be discussing a buyback in. Jack says, what's to keep the Aztecs from quitting a month from now? And then both sides getting lawyered up. P.S. Where's ESPN getting all this money for TV deals when they're slashing payroll? That's a big part of, I think, why they're doing what they're doing is the TV deal stuff. But they're also obviously being a lot more selective in the rights fees that they're going after. What's to keep the Aztecs from leaving in a month? Nothing, aside from they'll follow protocol. They know that this is binding. So it would be another year. The deadline that they were just up against was to get out at the end of June of 2024. Right? So it's another year. I don't know that a bunch of you think, or any of you think, that if San Diego State gets invited to the Pac-12 or the Big 12, they're staying in this league long term. Nobody does. Nor would New Mexico, nor would Colorado State, nor would Wyoming, Fresno State, UNLV, pick your team. None of them. I don't think any of you are mad at that. I think you're laughing at San Diego State because they overplayed their hand. All right, let me get you some other stuff that you're in on today. Text line, the Sports Animal text line is 505-246-0610. You can get in on the 377 Brewery Hotline. That's where we are. The 377 Brewery Hotline is 505-246-0610. This is, how do I feel? The way that the Mountain West let San Diego State back into the conference, you ask? I think both irrelevant, as litigation would be expensive. SDSU will pay boatloads when they do leave and go elsewhere. And those sick and tired of SDSU will be glad to express their goodbyes and good rittances and show SDSU the door. The claim that the Mountain West is better with SDSU is a stretch. SDSU's recent success doesn't elevate the rest of the Mountain West. And SDSU is itching to leave, a la the Pac-12's UCLA. I think what I said, I guess when I'll go there. I said there's no argument that the league is better without San Diego State. Now, I guess, ergo, that means the league is better. I didn't say the league is better with, but I'll say that. The league is better with San Diego State. Now, is it Pac-12? Is it a power? It is not. But I would explain to me how the league is not better with San Diego State. It says their recent success doesn't elevate the rest of the Mountain West. Kind of does. It kind of does. In fact, it elevated you to a financial, from the financial side with the units that they got you with the NCAA tournament. I don't know, elevating going all the way to the NCAA championship game in basketball and winning 10 games in football on a regular basis. It does. The way I said it was, there's no way I see that the league is better without San Diego State. But I guess, yeah, ergo, they're better with San Diego State. Yeah, I'll go there. Yeah, I do believe that. All right. We also had a conversation on Colin Kaepernick. It was a short conversation, but Omar says, Kaepernick again, Jeff? Do we really need to bring this up? Nothing's changed since the last time we beat this topic into the ground. If he wants to prove he can still play, go to the USFL. You don't want to talk about it, but this texter says Jeff's limited discussion on and about the Kaepernick availability issue is proof that sports talk radio shows don't cover social issues very well. Any consideration of Colin Kaepernick's availability has clearly been obstructed by the NFL's collusion. We have spent months on this. And I was, DC, when we had this conversation, when I got to that point on the social stuff, we were right up against the break. I'm not, believe me, I'm not going to run away from this. If you want to have the conversation, I mean, there is no argument that Colin Kaepernick has been kept out of the NFL because if you want to call it collusion, fine, but for what he stood for. In fact, we had the conversation. Do we ask you this? Is there any athlete who is paid more since the 1968 Olympics for standing up? So Ali went to jail and had a great career. He didn't pay with his career. He went to jail. But he came back and had he's the greatest of all time, and now kind of, I mean, pretty much is universally loved. Does anybody not love the late Muhammad Ali?
Not that I know of.
Right? I mean, he's legendary. Like if you said of the last, and it might even be more than 50, if you said last 60, 70 years, the greatest Mount Rushmore of sporting figures, Ali would be on many people's, if not most, Mount Rushmore, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So I'm not running from a social issue here. I don't think there's, if you want to have the conversation, call the 377 Brewery hotline at 505-246-0610 or send me a text. Nobody's running from this. He stood up for something. He, in many people's eyes, overplayed his hand. And he paid with his career. Now, he did get a payout from the National Football League, right? A big payout. I didn't know. How did I miss in 2018 he was offered $7 million by the Broncos? I don't know how you know I missed it. But, I mean, so he had a try with the Broncos, and John Elway offered him $7 million to be a backup?
That is what was reported. Everyone.
Who was the quarterback then?
Well, in 2016, 17, 18 would be
was that
Trevor
the Paxton
Simeon.
Lynch, Trevor Simeon mess?
Yeah, yes.
Brock Osweiler, Paxton Lynch, that whole let's great really tall guys who
Paxton, yeah.
All right. So he would have come in and competed, but look, if he turned down $7 million to get back in the league, and then with all due respect, I don't want to hear I wasn't given a chance.
Yeah, that's a tough one. When I hear that too, there have been chances, and you're right, $7 million. That's a very good chance.
Well, especially 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, that was a quality backup contract
when nobody else was giving you a chance, supposedly, and you had a chance to get back in at $7 million. It's hard for me to say you didn't get a chance. We're in a pretty good situation with whether it was Trevor Simeon or Paxton Lynch or whoever the hell was the quarterback back then. If you were good enough, and then you were 30, theoretically in your prime, if you believed in your ability and you were that good, then you would have had a chance, right? I'm sorry, I'm struggling with that one. Yeah, Stigler's right, and he said Curt Flood paid a huge price for the baseball free agency issue. Yeah, no, he absolutely did. But I'm kind of talking in the last 50 years ish. No, I'll talk about this. There's no argument. The only argument is coming from the NFL itself that they colluded to keep Colin Kaepernick. And even if they didn't collude, if you want to believe that there was no collusion, which it's a tough one, but okay, all right. Each owner in their own right, except for Pat Bowlen at the time, evidently back in 2018 with the Broncos. Each owner in their own right made a decision. This is with the assumption that they didn't collude, which is a really tough assumption. Made a decision that no, we're good. I got better solutions at quarterback. I don't need that. And I made this argument then, DC, and I don't know where you are on this. As hot as this topic was, as incredibly divisive as this individual was, he was going to be brought in as a backup quarterback in almost every situation, probably in the Broncos situation. And every coach will tell you, JJ and I differ on this, right? He thinks I overvalue this, and I don't think I do. Coaches hate noise. They hate outside noise. And they sure as hell don't want a bunch of noise around their backup quarterback.
Oh, you're right about that. And I mean, the noise is such a good point because you're right. How are you going to run a football team when you have all the outside noise? I bringing in a new guy just brings controversy. I understand avoiding that from a coach's perspective.
Well, from a coach's and an ownership perspective, right? This is, I mean, he was 5 years ago Bud Light, right? I mean, it would have been you bring him in, it's polarizing to your fan base, and you got, I mean, right? The polls tell you we're split 50-50 almost. Half of America was on it, half America wasn't. And so they just want to stay away from it, right? And the other side of it is, I don't need my backup quarterback being the guy the media goes to every damn day.
Yeah, seeing him on the podium every day would not be a good look. Although I would say this, he's claiming that he's still at an elite level, right? If he's elite, he would have got a job. I just
see that's where I kind of lean to you a little bit, but not 100%. Every other instance, hell, in sports, but certainly in football, if a dude could play, you overlooked it, right? There have been some bad dudes, like dudes who have been accused of really, really bad stuff.
Yes.
Beating the hell out of their pregnant wives, girlfriends. I mean, murders, right? All kinds of stuff. And dudes, but he can play, man. He can get to the quarterback. He can catch the ball. He can run. Right. This was the one where, no, we're not. I'm not overlooking that. And I don't even know if it was. I'm not overlooking that. I think ownership, in large respects, said I just flat out don't want to take this on. I don't want the feedback. Is it wrong to compare it to the Bud Light thing?
No, I think that actually makes a lot of sense. I can see how you have this great product, you make a decision, and it goes downhill quickly.
I don't know how great the product was, but Bud Light product.
Fair enough. Very popular
Very
product.
popular
There you go.
product.
There you go.
Yes.
But yeah, no. You make that one move, and suddenly you're not selling jerseys, you're not selling tickets. A fan base can turn quickly, so I see that. But I still think, was
he that good that it was worth taking that risk? And no owner said yes, except for evidently Pat Bowlen, and offered him $7 million. And if he in fact turned down the $7 million back then, with all due respect, it's on him. Then he had a chance.
He did.
And there was no market for him at that point. There was none.
And that would have been a good landing spot. He had his college roommate there. I bet he had people around him. John Elway would have protected him. He had a good situation he could have
fallen into. The media there is not brutal like it would be in New York or Chicago or
they
Boston.
would have been so soft on him.
Yeah. So if that's the case, look, if you want to get on that, I'm here for you. I'm not running from that. Hell, it's right there at 505-246-0610. That is the 377 Brewery hotline, and you're welcome to get in on that. We haven't got here yet. NFL, Major League Baseball has released its all-star rosters. Who got snubbed? And who's going to be in the Home Run Derby? Because that's coming up a week from today. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Registration is now.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and
ball's going to be flying up the yard in Seattle. Good ballpark, good town, home run derby a week from today, and then the All-Star game. What's good? We're here for you today. 505-246-0610. That be the 377 Brewery Hotline. Jeff Sambieta and DC. JJ's off today. Glad to get you in. Let me get you this real quick. No matter what social stances are or what distraction Kaepernick caused to the team, the bottom line is he is not good enough to be an NFL quarterback. Because if he were, he most certainly would be. Kaepernick is not being blackballed. If you were good enough to be a starter in the NFL, you'd be a starter in the NFL. You believe that? Would he be a starter in the NFL? If he were good enough to be a starter, he would be. See that was kind of my point, right? Is he being blackballed? I think both of those are true. I think he's being unofficially blackballed because he's not a star, and he's not worth bringing on because he's not a star, and he comes with everything that he comes with, according to the ownership. Does that make sense? Like no matter what the social issues are, this says what distraction caused. The bottom line is he's not good enough to be an NFL quarterback, because if he were, he most certainly would be. He is, or at least was, good enough to be on a roster in the NFL. Do we any argument?
No, he took a team to the Super Bowl.
Okay. Is he good enough to be a starter in the NFL? I don't know. Do you?
I don't, but I will say this. Teams were sending scouts to check him out.
That's right.
So if he was getting blackballed, they wouldn't be there, right?
I think that's right. Now, there's an argument that they were doing that just for optics. See, we scouted him. He's just not good enough. And we've got Jared Stidham, and we've got Brett Rippon, and we've got some of these quarterbacks who are around the NFL, and you're like, come on, right? Now, I don't know what he looks like now. He's been out of the league 5 years. But that was kind of my conversation. If he was good enough to be a star, that's what this says. If he's good enough to be a starter in the NFL, I don't know if he is. But my contention is that if he's going to be a backup, man, I don't need that distraction at backup.
No,
I don't need that. Yeah. And I'm just going to tell you, if he was offered $7 million and turned it down, with all due respect, that's on you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he thought he was going to be a starter. He thought he was going to make probably 3 times that, so he threw it away like it was a nothing offer. Then he looks back 6 years later, and that was the only one. So
yeah, there wasn't one. All right, All-Star Game, Major League Baseball. The rosters were announced. That means your home run derby is on Monday. Many of you care about that. T-Mobile Park, Seattle. They got the clock, the new generation of young players. Juan Soto won the Derby last year. One player who will not participate in 2023 is the Braves' Ronald Acuna Jr. He's the NL MVP frontrunner. He told reporters that he will skip it this season. He's done a home run derby twice before, so he is out. But here's who's in. Julio Rodriguez of the Mariners, hometown guy. Vladimir Guerrero, who put on as good a show as ever. Mookie Betts. You know why Mookie's doing it? He said he wants to do everything in baseball. So he's doing this. Feels like an afterthought, but okay. Randy Rosarena and Pete Alonso said last night he's in and then hit a home run. Are you a home run derby guy?
Oh, I love it.
Really?
I've been there, and I
You've
was
been
actually
there. So you were there at Coors Field?
Yes. And I was just looking for tickets in Seattle because it's that tempting.
Really?
It is the most fun of any sporting event, I can tell you.
All right, hit me. Why? Because I'm not there.
It's home run after home run after home run. And so for guys like me who grew up playing that kind of baseball, home run derby and things, it's just magic over and over and over again. I felt like a kid there. It was the most fun.
All right.
And I would say anyone who's considering an event, think about the home run derby.
So would you do that before the game itself?
Well, the game is the night after.
No, I understand. Oh. If you had tickets for one, would you do one or the other?
Home run derby, 100%.
Really?
Oh, yes. Are you kidding me? My kid loved it so much. He didn't know what was going on, but he sees balls flying out of the field, people running all over. It was magic. I loved it. I don't know what else to say. The home run derby was awesome.
All right. You might be the only person that I know who's been at the home run derby. And I'm down with that. Home run derby or dunk contest? Which you like better?
That last dunk contest was awesome, but
it was good.
I'd still take the home run derby.
I might too. I think I like baseball more than I like the NBA.
But that last dunk contest, man,
it was good.
It was
really good. That's interesting. Okay, all right. I don't know that I ever knew anybody was there. All right, reserves. Clayton Kershaw 10th appearance. Mike Trout 11th All-Star game. Other National League pitchers are all first or second time selection, except for Josh Hader. I'm not going to run down the whole list for you. Fernando Tatis being left out. You okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a star name, so you kind of wonder why. But if he didn't make it, he didn't make it. So I'm all right.
Well, somebody's got to be left out, and I don't know if the whole suspension last year had anything to do with it. And look, when we sit here a week out and figure somebody's going to get pulled or missed, I'm not sure that I lose my mind over this stuff. But okay. Wander Franco being left out. Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, I don't know. This is always, there's always somebody left out, right? Do you like the All-Star game?
Not as much as the Derby. And to be honest, it's part of it is that I just don't know as many of the players as I used to.
That's right. I think, see, back in the day, I used to love it because it was the only time, I'm old enough, before there was interleague play. So it was the only time you ever saw them play each other. And I thought it was so special. I used to love the All-Star game and root for your guys. And I used to just love it. Now it's like, all right, I watch it. It's Tuesday night in the middle of July. Yeah, I'm down with it.
Yeah, it owns the night. I mean,
it does own the night. No, that's right. I mean, it's that time of year where it owns the night. I watched Mets and Giants last night. So yeah, it absolutely owns the night. It's good. It doesn't make me go, oh my goodness. All right, this may make you go, oh my goodness. Some of the free agency deals in the National Basketball Association and the money that's going on. Who won that? Who's winning that? And I think the Suns just got a sneaky good signing that, I don't know, you tell me, but may make them the best team in the West, certainly the favorites, to go with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. It's the opening drive, what they did next on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
Registration.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Check it out. What is
that and why? Where? Oh, that's good. Phoenix Suns, I think, just made a sneaky good deal late yesterday. That, well, I think they got to add depth. If you tell me I got a team that's got rolling out on a regular basis, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, along with the big guy in the middle. And now you're going to give me Eric Gordon. DeAndre Ayton's there. Eric Gordon signed a 2-year deal with a player option. So $6 million over 2 years. He's 34. He became a free agent when the Clippers opted not to guarantee his $21 million contract. So it saved the Clippers over $100 million. Gordon was getting a lot of interest on the market. He was one of the top free agents. He averaged 11 points a game. I think this is look, they lost Chris Paul as their point guard. You add a veteran like this to a club with that, a guy who doesn't need the ball, doesn't need to score, but it's going to facilitate. Terrific move.
Terrific. It's right. They are scary in the West, man. I look at that roster and I think that's not someone I want to see in the playoffs. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, I look at them now. They need depth because there's not a whole lot there after their starting five, and so they're going to need depth. But for crying out loud, I think this was a great move for them. Other signings, and I'm going to just throw millions of dollars at you. Mikal Bridges, $7.9 million qualifying offer by the Charlotte Hornets. All right, Domantas Sabonis is good, right? Sacramento Kings, all NBA center, like really good. $217 million over 5 seasons.
That is mind-blowing, man. How many people do you think got 200 plus?
I mean, everybody, it seems like, doesn't it?
It sure feels like it. I want 200.
$45+ million a year. It's insane bank, dude. And good for him. Like, I'm not mad at anybody for getting their money. I'm not mad at anybody for getting paid. But boy, oh boy, are they throwing money around like crazy. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. You can that's the 377 Brewery hotline. Let me give you, boy, you got a lot in today. Let me get it's we'll get there later. Can I vent, Jeffy? Jack is we're just his shrink, by the way. Jack just likes to vent. He says when you're old, you have to go to the bathroom all the time, except when you need to. I'm sorry, man. He says, like last week when I was at the doctor's office and tried to fill up the cup, but I couldn't even produce a few drops. It's kind of like the weather in New Mexico. I'm not sure why Jack decided he had to tell us that, but Jack, drink a lot of water before you go to the doctor and have to provide a sample would be, or a bunch of, well, I was almost said a bunch of beer. I don't know what to tell you, Jack, but yeah, you can vent. That's what we're here for. I don't even know. Carl wants to know, meanwhile, in beautiful El Paso, Texas, it's got to be bruising this morning with calls led by Armando for cleaning jobs to be lost. What's going on with the Chihuahuas? Because the Isotopes beat them last night. Back at it tonight. Monday. We don't get a lot of Monday baseball. You going tonight?
You know, I might. I went last week. I like it.
Oh, did you go out and use the tickets?
We had some problems with the tickets, but
what do you mean you had problems with the tickets?
It went to the old email that is like locked out through Cumulus. It's a whole deal, but we were able to go online and get them for like $6 a piece. It was so much fun.
Sorry.
Little dude runs around the bases, and he just thought that was the coolest thing ever.
All right, next time you need to, I'll figure it out. I'm using mine tonight, but
we might see you out there, man. That's a good time.
No,
you guys have a good thing going with that.
It's like, was that your first time there?
That was my first ever minor league game.
I tell people it's like a mini big league park, right? It's just a smaller. It's got the amenities. It's what they've done. That's a 20-year-old ballpark, 21-year-old, and it feels new. It's a wonderful spot.
Yeah, it was fun. It was real fun. He liked the outfield, the games, and the kids area. Food was good. Merch was good. That's a really cool spot.
Yeah, I love that spot. We're going out tonight. Addie grew up there, man. She's been there since she was 9 days old. Was her first game. Took her to Fenway Park for the first time on Thursday.
Man, I'm jealous. I am.
There's a few spots. Wrigley, Fenway, Lambeau Field, like you can just feel the history. It just oozes. You know what I mean? And I was at Lambeau last year and didn't go to a game. I was there for an event, meetings and stuff, but I took the tour of Lambeau Field and it just oozes, right? I mean, you just feel everything, the history, you see the pictures, I don't know. There's something like new ballparks are beautiful. I love new ballparks. So she was in Philly last week and she went to that new park there. I've been to, but there is something about going to the old school ones.
Yeah, Lambeau's one I've not visited. I'm actually considering doing it in a few weeks because I don't know if you knew this or not, but I'm a part owner of the Packers.
No, you and everybody else.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Good
for you. Do you have your certificate framed?
I do. I do. And the letter. Cool. And
are you a fan of them?
No. No, I'm not. I just like buying
I don't
things.
even freaking like them.
No, I just think it's the coolest thing in the world.
It is kind of cool.
Yeah, you get a letter saying, hey, congratulations, you are the newest NFL owner.
That's really cool.
And I remind my wife of that frequently, and she hates it.
Why? Because it's a waste of money, or because why?
Well, because I'll start out saying, as an NFL owner, can't stand it, but totally worth the $300.
Is that what it was?
The $350.
Yeah,
like that.
For that certificate, it's totally worth it.
And I get to vote.
And you've never been there? You get to vote on? What do you vote on?
So they're doing some changes in the front office, and that's the purpose of the meeting is to have owners vote.
On what? Like, what do you have a say on?
I should have brought the letter, but it is just personnel changes within the
but not high up, like the secretary and who's running the team store, right?
Right, pretty much.
I'm sorry, receptionist or administrative assistant is probably the more of the correct word, right? But you're not voting on like the GMs and that kind of stuff.
Not this year. I mean, it's hard to say year to year how it is, but this year it was just basic.
No, hit that spot. We got. I showed you some pictures. We got spoiled. I got a good friend who runs the Fenway Bowl, and he took Addie down on the field for batting practice because it was raining. It was just kind of infield practice, but down on the field, and then took her up to the Green Monster. We got spoiled with it, but dude, there's some places. You know, I always